Well, welcome everyone to the Peanut Gallery.
Hey.
How's it going? I have my good friend Josh Gadet here with me. How are you today, Josh?
I'm great, Trevor. How are you?
Great. I am very, very good. Normally, I'm sitting behind the camera, but right now the two clowns known as Albert and Patrick are behind the camera, and we have swapped places. So if you guys want to say hello.
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 Hello. Hello, everybody.
Very, very good. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
so something that I actually found out today is that wait, we might have to
can you get
restart
off?
again.
Can you
I
get
didn't
off
start
your
my
phone?
timer. No, I did start my timer. All right, sorry guys. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. Who
Can you
cares?
get off your phone during this podcast, please? I'm trying to pay attention to you. Want to hear about the shack in the water?
Yes, if you could tell me. So a little bit of backstory. So in case any of you don't know, I was in Australia for 3 years. And Josh has never been to Australia in his life, and he has a better Australian accent than I do. So if you want to
I
demo
just want
that
to get
for
a
us.
tattoo of a shack jaw on my kneecap. That's all I'd like.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want a shrimp on the barbie.
Never speak again, Albert. Please, never speak again. No, but I'm really stoked to have you on here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your story, man?
Have you ever read Harry Potter?
Haven't read
Yeah,
them.
that's my
Watched
story.
the
That's me. I am Daniel Radcliffe. That's his name, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Daniel
me.
Radcliffe. That's his name.
Just kidding. Hi, I'm Josh. I'm 20
Something.
6.
26?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
I play music and work in fast food, so the stereotypical band guy, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Still live at home with my parents in their basement.
Pay for your guitar tone with flipping burgers.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
It's that's me in a nutshell.
No, that's cool. That's
I
good.
think. I
So
don't know.
you're a part of a little known band around here called Moore Ave Underground.
Ooh,
Yes,
That's
Moore
the
Ave
band
Underground.
name.
Why is it called Moore Ave Underground?
we live on Moore Ave,
Yeah.
right beside Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Patrick, another man that lives
What's
on
up,
Moore
what's
Ave
up, Moore
Underground.
Ow!
Very, very cool.
And we practice in the basement.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's very great.
under the ground.
Under the ground.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yes.
The other name decision that we might be changing, Mooresville Drive.
Morrisville Drive.
Mooresville. No,
Moore-
Moore. Yeah,
oh.
Mooresville. Like
okay.
Mooresville Drive. One time when we were going to Godrich to record, we saw a street called Mooresville Drive, and that sounds way cooler.
It does sound really cool,
Yeah.
but I feel like it still wouldn't be the same though. Moore Ave Underground.
It's
Like,
a
it's
long
just-
name. It's not
It
very
is.
catchy. Like there's so much.
It is a long name.
My
That's
girlfriend
true.
gets mad at me when she has to print it on shirts and stuff because
Moore Ave
it's just
Underground.
such letters.
Yeah. No, you're right. So, so how did that start?
Honestly, we all just kind of jammed a lot. Like I got some musical instruments for graduating grade 8, and I think I got my first actual guitar when I was like 7, and just stuff like that, playing and messing around on instruments. And then as I went through high school, started taking music more seriously. My
Yeah.
brothers kind of joined in behind me, and we just kind of played a lot. There was one Christmas where my parents brought like a drum kit, got us a drum kit, or Santa brought us a drum kit. And a bass and a couple of amps.
Yeah.
And we were like, yo, Santa, thanks, man. He was like, no problem, guys. You just, make sure you sign something for me later. And I said, nope, no worries. What's your address? And then he gave me his postal code, which is OHOHOH or whatever,
That's good.
Anyway, yeah, so we got some cool instruments for Christmas. We did some renos in the basement to get rid of like a bar that was down there because we didn't use the bar.
I didn't know there was a bar down there.
Yeah, there was a big bar down there, and we had like a table hockey table, like for games, and a foosball table. And then we got rid of that stuff and turned it into like more of a jam space area, and we started jamming, playing covers.
Yeah.
We wanted to play in front of people, and we knew a lot of our friends wanted to play in front of people, so we started putting on small little shows to do that. And then one time this local rapper, who is now my best friend, was really mad at us due to a issue with a lady.
Okay.
And-
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
And so that person who is rad, like honestly, me and Mac
Yeah.
are best friends now, but he
Yeah.
started chirping a little bit, talking about how we were just a cover band.
Yeah.
And I was really grumpy because I was working on original stuff. So I was like, you know what, man? That's mean. Here's a whole album of original songs.
Yep.
Burn.
Yep.
And then that's how we started taking it seriously because people
That's
were like,
sweet,
yo,
yeah.
those are actually some pretty
Yeah.
good songs. I said,
No,
oh, okay,
100%.
cool. And now
No.
me and Mac are best friends.
Yeah, that's sweet. Mac is a cool dude.
He's really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that his rapper name?
His rapper name is Dirty Mac.
Dirty Mac.
Dirty
And
Mac.
he lives to that. Yeah, he's quite the homeless looking person. But he owns it, man. And he's good at what he does.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
So tell me about your first show.
No.
No. Was it that bad?
I don't remember our first show. Like, it depends on how we do it. Like, are you talking high school?
Yeah, I'm
coffee
talking high
house?
school. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
As a band or solo?
no, just as a band.
Oh, I think the first time we actually played at the high school as Moore Ave Underground, I was actually in university.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I had come back to play with Joe, Jack, and Caleb. And we wanted to play 3 songs, but they wouldn't let us play 3 songs. And so we were on the bill as playing 2 songs.
Okay.
And like one of them was a cover, and we didn't end up playing it because they wouldn't. We were just gonna play the song whether they let us or not.
Yeah.
And then we started playing it, and they just closed the curtains and cut the sound. And I was like, "Come on, what the heck?" Yeah, but it was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we at that point in time we still swapped drummers between Sean and Jack.
Between Sean and Jack, yeah.
And it was, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Good times.
That's cool. Then I guess a follow-up question, or I guess a related question would be, what do you think, since the time that you guys have been together and since you guys have been playing as a band, what's been your most memorable show?
Okay, so there's a couple. One time, we got asked to play at the Richmond in London for a friend's birthday party. And we didn't know a lot of the other musicians or a lot of the people that were there. But we went and we put a really cool set together. And at the end of the night, everyone was super stoked. They're like, the one guy was actually like, you should play more original songs.
Yeah.
And we were like, we only played 2 covers that entire set. And they were like, oh, okay. Like that's, so, stuff like that is pretty cool. But we busted into a cover. I think it was Sugar We're Going Down Swinging by Fall Out Boy.
Yep.
And if you've ever been to the Richmond, there's like windows right behind the band and they were all opened up and it had just started to rain outside.
Yeah.
And people were just kind of walking on the street in the rain, like being people in London. And as soon as we started playing, within like 2 seconds, everyone rushed to the front. People were running inside. And
Yeah.
we just, from that point on, we had the entire place packed. And it was like an actual like concert. It was super
That's
cool.
really cool.
People going nuts.
That's
and
dope.
Then there's also being able to play Rum Runners. Like that was super cool.
Yeah.
Because like how many
Yep.
times we went and saw bands at Rum Runners.
Oh, yeah.
Like so
Oh,
many
yeah.
times growing up, right?
Yep.
And then to be able to play in the last year and a half before shows stopped being a thing, we were able to play Rum Runners 3 times. That was super
That's so
rad.
cool.
Especially, I don't know if you know the band Somehow Hollow.
No.
They were like an old Warped Tour band from like 2001, 2002.
Sheesh.
And
Miss Warped Tour.
yeah, I think they released like an album or 2, and then they kind of dropped off. They signed to I think like it was like Pure Noise or something like that. But they put out an EP recorded with the same guy we recorded with.
Yeah.
And so we got asked to open, like the last time we played Rum Runners was with them, and it was super cool. Yeah. It was
That's
super
really
rad.
sweet. So, talking about the shutdown, then, the music industry is one area that I think has probably been hit. I don't think it's a stretch to say that it's probably been hit the hardest.
Yeah, because it stopped as soon as the shutdown started, like
Yeah.
that first one, like in March of whatever, of 2020. It stopped, everything stopped then, and there has not been really a resurgence since. You know
No.
what I mean? Like there's been a couple of venues that have been allowed to do some live stuff, but nothing compared to what anybody else has.
So, what was your reaction then, kind of when everything started happening and when venues started to close, or what were your thoughts as a band and what was going through your head?
Well, we were trying to stay super, super positive. Like we were lucky because in September, before everything shut down, we had recorded 2 songs. And then the January right before, we had recorded another 2 songs.
Yeah.
So we were sitting on 4 tunes. And right like the weekend before the announcement was made in March, we had just finished filming 2 music videos for 2 of those tunes.
Yeah.
So we felt like we were really lucky because we had content to continue to push out.
Yeah.
And I had a couple ideas on how to run like a pre-order for merch to still try and generate some like income.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously for bands, like summer is where you make money because you're doing
festivals and shows and all sorts of different
right?
stuff. Yeah.
So we had a couple of different gigs that we book every year that were good money makers that we were hoping to have in order to pay off some of the recording, because that was kind of like on
recording is not cheap.
No, it was like on a trust. I was like, hey, Sig, I don't have money to pay for this. He said, don't worry about it. You're going to be touring all summer, so you'll have money. And I said, okay, if you trust us. And then we didn't have money. And then it was like, oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So now I'm in debt to a guy. I don't want to be in debt to a guy.
No,
I'm
who
already
does?
in debt to the government and to student loans. Like, I don't need more of that. So we were just positive and trying to work really hard to make sure we did stuff, and we were able to work within restrictions when things were lifted up a bit to record a couple more music videos and do all that. And we were able to do the merch pre-orders, which were really cool. So like we stayed positive. Yeah. But this year has been rough.
Yeah, no, it has, and especially with everything, it seems like it's changing almost on a day by day basis, and it's really, really rough. So what are you kind of doing to support yourself now that you're not really like?
It's hard. I think I didn't personally realize how much I used live performances as like a coping mechanism to like help me stay strong like mentally. Yeah. Until probably like January-ish of this year, I really realized when, you know, I had one of my 3 probably mental breakdowns in the last couple of months where I was just like, everything sucks. But, you know, what was the question? What did you ask me?
Just how, like how you've been getting through this both, like that way as well as financially as well, because if you're in a band, like it's always really tight, especially in a situation like this where you don't know when your next show is going to come. And
we were lucky enough in September to be able to do a show when some of the restrictions were lifted up in London at Palisade.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
It was a lot of fun. We kind of sold it out for what the capacity was allotted, and they allowed us to sell some merch, and you know, the guidelines up front were pretty good. So it was a decent like money-making show. Yeah. But on top of that, it's just been financially the pre-orders. Like, I don't know, we've been putting together cool merch and everyone has been really enjoying it. So we're kind of pushing that out. We generate a little bit more when we do like a line. Like in the summer we did a line, and then right before Christmas we did like a whole bunch of options. Right now we're just running like a t-shirt with our release, so it's not as crazy, but it's still a little bit, right? Enough to kind of pad that so that we can hopefully go forward and maybe work with a cool production team to do a nice live stream or something like that. But
100%.
That's basically been what it is, because we're not making no money on our music.
No, not really right now. Hey, no. And you also you work at McDonald's too. Hey, you're a manager.
Oh, you're not supposed to tell everybody that.
Oh, I'm not supposed to tell everybody that. Oh, okay. Dang it. You got me. That was good. I was like, wait, what?
Well, that was a secret.
Secret. Very secret.
Now everyone's gonna rush to McDonald's. All 6 people that like us. I'm gonna be overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Anyways. What's that been like? Because I know last week we talked with Helen from Johnny's, and that's like, you know, they've been in town for ages. And how does a place like that compare to something like McDonald's? You know, what has that been like with the constant changes of everything?
It honestly seems like it never stops. Like, I don't think it was rough right at the beginning because we had a lot of crew that opted to take some time off during it. So then we weren't able to pad our place with crew, and like it was just managers working our butts off, like with, I mean, for sure sales have been down, but like everyone still wants coffee, everyone still wants burgers because it's easy and quick, right? Like so it's a lot, and it gets very overwhelming some days. It's started to level out a little bit now, which is nice, but like I said, I don't feel like it stopped. And then, you know, you have great customers and people that are super appreciative that we're still working and still doing everything to make sure that everything's great. But then, you know, you have that one customer during the day that is just really eager to make your day terrible. No matter what, because they're having a rough day. They want to make sure that you know they're having a rough day and that you also have a rough day. And then, you know, the people that aren't following the guidelines because of their beliefs or their differences. And it's like, okay, that's great. You can sit here until you're blue in the face and tell me what your rights are, but I'm just following the rules for my job.
Yeah, it's like,
so
who
that
do you,
I don't
who
get
do you think I
fired.
am? You think I run McDonald's? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm the manager, and I'm supposed
Yeah.
to tell you to wear a mask. So just wear a mask.
Just wear
And
a
if you don't
mask.
want to wear a mask, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just wait outside while we get your food together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's hard to ask. You know what I mean? But then
No.
there's still the odd person here or there that
yep.
decide to fight you.
Yeah.
And that's just draining. You know what I mean? Like the day can be busy and it's a work day, but when you have to deal with stuff like that, it just gets really tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't necessarily understand when it comes to like customer service or food service. It's that's where the hard part
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is. And you have to, because I can't be mean to you.
No.
You can sit there and yell and swear all you want at me and no one's going to say anything.
Yep.
Right. But the second I give you any of that back, that's on me. Like I get in
Yep.
trouble.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I get a document or whatever.
Yep.
I get HR calling me. If you ever want the phone number, it's tattooed right there.
You have a tattooed on you?
Yeah.
I
thought
that.
it would be funny.
That is great. That is funny.
Some people think it's funny.
I like it.
Some people don't like it.
It was a good
But I will.
choice, I think,
you.
personally.
Thank
Albert
you.
likes it too. Albert's chuckling back there.
Yeah, if you want to call, yeah, there you go. If you have an
great.
issue with me, McDonald's,
Oh, I would never have an issue with you ever. So
there you go.
no.
Yeah, it's tough, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's work, you know.
Yep, no, 100%. And I'm sure it's a lot too when you're working in a place like that and you're super crammed and you're around a ton of people and you have someone at home as well who's vulnerable, right? Like your mom. I don't know if you want to share anything
so-
on that and what that's been like.
Yeah, so my mom's been living with MS for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And honestly, living hasn't changed too much for us because we were always living to make sure that she's safe and protected and not going to be out of anything. So we're always trying to make sure, obviously taking for granted the fact that we did go into crowds and we did do that kind of stuff, but we made sure that she was okay and all that kind of stuff. We're always worrying about her. But it's definitely messed with the home dynamic of things because I don't want to bring anything home. I know my brothers don't want to bring anything home. And my mom doesn't want us to stop working or stop doing whatever just because we're scared for her. So you really gotta kind of find the balance between everything. Like you gotta work to survive, but you also don't want to bring anything home and cut out that ability to survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just got to be cautious and aware of the situation. Everyone makes mistakes and everyone messes up here and there, but just as long as the communication lines are open and everyone's talking, everyone knows what's up. Usually it's pretty good.
That's really good. And it's definitely a lot, especially when you're spending, because you live with your brothers as well. And, so when you're living with your brothers as well and you're in a band with them, there's always there can be lots of tension in situations like that, right? Lots of stuff to navigate, especially when everyone is so sick of what's going on and
it gets tough.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it does. But I mean, all the guys are great. Your family is super great. And I'm really grateful for all the time that I've been able to spend there since I've known you guys.
Thanks,
and you guys
man.
have always been super great.
No, and that's what we try to
hang in.
I think that's been the toughest thing is we try to the way we live and what we've tried to create like at Moore Ave has been 24/7, 365, like 7 days a week, no questions asked. If you need something, we got your back.
Yeah.
Like we're there to help. We're there to talk. We're shoulder to cry on, an ear, right? If you just need to get away, like whatever, like that's the vibe that we put out. And, everybody love everybody. That's the house show rule kind of a thing when we do like shows at our place. So not being able to kind of 100% be able to do that, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm losing the word, but
because you
because
want
you can't
to
bring everyone in, or you can't. The most we can do is through social media, but you can only connect.
You can
so
only
much
connect so much. You can only do so
through, like,
much.
text, right?
And I think when you say that it's something that you're going for in a culture that you're trying to create, I would say 100% that you've done that. I mean, every time I've gone in there, I felt so welcomed and so loved, and you have such a diverse group of people there, especially when you have like a show or something going on. There are all sorts of different people that have all sorts of different beliefs that if you were to have a one-on-one conversation, you'd probably disagree in a lot of different areas, but there's still like
there's a common
there.
ground, right? There's a common ground for everyone to just love each other and share positivity and have a safe space to come to, and that's what we want, right?
Yeah.
And I don't. It just sucks not being able to provide that physically for everyone right now.
Yeah.
But we still try. The inboxes are always open. Just a phone call away for anybody that needs it. So I still put it out there.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I know Patrick lives right beside you as well, and I know he's had a lot of good conversations with your dad too, and I'm sure he's seen that, and I'm sure he's enjoyed hearing your band practices. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, being next door, and moving in, I mean, you guys were upfront right before we even bought the house about the fact that we were moving in next door
We
to the
actually
underground.
made sure that every time there was a realtor in the area, we were having a practice. Just
which was great because it allowed me to purchase the house at a discount, which is so I want to say up front, thank you.
Hey, no problem.
But like being next door to you, you guys put your time in. Like you guys practice. Like before the pandemic, you guys were down there. You guys were practicing a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you take your craft for granted and don't put the time in to improve.
Yeah.
Like since the time I moved in to just before pandemic, as a neighbor, I could clearly tell the difference in how well you guys could play.
Thank you, man.
And for me though, like what I think, and I think about you guys, I think about how have you been dealing with the reality that it's like this whole thing has put everything on pause. And like there's, you think about certain windows of opportunity that you have to like break through. Like how have you guys as a group been how have you been dealing with that mentally? Like that's hard. Like you want to jump back in and like here we are. Like we were right like you guys honestly, were like right before pandemic. You guys were killing it.
We had a lot of plans like for this summer or last summer specifically. We were planning on like I had at least one weekend a month planned where we were gone from Thursday to Sunday. You know what I mean? Where we weren't going to be in the area.
Oh yeah.
My plan was to play all the cities and places that we hadn't played yet. And just get out and get into Ontario and up and down the 401, all that kind of stuff, right? And then after that, there was a lot of talks. We have a couple buddies that their bands go through the States every year, and they do a couple runs. So our plans were getting through the States. And then we had another band that we were friends with say, hey, like, we just did a tour in Japan. It was just DIY, and we just went and made it happen, and it was super easy. So we were like, okay, we picked their brain, figured it out. My girlfriend's uncle lives and teaches there. So like we had some kind of a spot. The plan was by 2021, 2022, we were going to have our Japan tour.
Oh, I had no idea that was going to be a thing.
It was like we were just super stoked, but we didn't want to talk about it because we didn't want to like, hey, we're doing this, and then all of a sudden we didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it was in the works, but then obviously none of that can happen now, right? But I think to answer your question, what we've been trying to do is honestly, again, just stay positive. One of the things that we did all the time before we were playing shows and all working full time and everything was we probably practiced like every night. Caleb and Sean were over at the house, and we were doing practices every night. Mm-hmm. Things started to pick up with like our popularity and the shows that we were taking. So eventually, especially after Caleb left, it got to the point where we weren't practicing. We were just running our set really quick before we left for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. So we lost that connection a little bit, and we're starting to realize that now because it stopped being fun to just play songs together and started just being, okay, let's run the set. Don't mess up. If you make a mistake, like I'm going to yell at you because like that's a dumb mistake. We play these songs over and over again. Right. So what we're trying to do when we're allowed and when we can do it within restrictions, obviously, is to just play and just get back to that point where we were having fun playing together, whether it was original tunes we were writing or doing cover songs, because we started the process a couple months ago to try and record a full length, but we realized very quickly into that process that we were not prepared, and we decided to kind of like, the project was dropped, and we decided to kind of back out too, and just kind of take our focus our efforts into just feeling that connection that we used to have again, and taking the time obviously that we have because we're not able to do a bunch of other stuff and focus on that. So it's been tough because we're having to almost relearn things and step out of our egos and stuff like that to go back in and kind of start from scratch almost. But I think it's going to work out for the best because like it's going to help new songs grow. It's going to help our live connection together as a group.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's just going to help us do a lot of things that we couldn't have done before and be a lot tighter going forward, so that hopefully when like the bubble breaks and we're able to jump into things, like we'll be able to just blow some minds. Yeah. Hopefully.
And especially coming out of this, I mean, I miss going to shows so much, everyone who's in the music industry, even guys who are working in production day in and day out, and it's really, really stressful too, especially if you're working a festival and you have a ton of bands on the bill. It's crazy, crazy stressful, but I feel like even those people are like, what the heck, we want to get back at it.
Well,
we
for
want
sure,
to keep
because
doing
it's a
this
stress
again.
that you want, because it's something
yeah.
you love doing, right?
Yeah, totally.
Sure, it sucks and it's a pain in the butt, but at the end of the day, you get like that feeling of fulfillment and joy for how rad the festival turned out, or cool, I overcame this issue, or like this band was super rad. So for sure, I think everyone's just itching, and that's going to be like the mild issue, is because just because everyone's itching, as soon as it's allowed, it might be one of those rush back into it really quick. So we have to monitor it a bit, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
the world will work. I mean, they're doing shows and stuff in Australia and New Zealand and stuff right now.
Yeah,
right?
and
So,
I'm sure in America too, in some places as well. But yeah, Australia right now, they're basically back to normal at this point. It's like stadiums are back to full capacity. You don't have to wear a mask when you're in public transit, like all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm hoping
the hope is there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, it's been really great having you on.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun. So if you haven't, check out Moore Ave Underground. Buy their new shirt. Do you have a link for it, like a place where you can buy it online?
So when does this podcast air?
This is going up on Tuesday.
What's the date Tuesday? Do we know?
What's the date Tuesday? That's a good question.
Because our pre-order might be done.
Tuesday is the 27th.
Okay, so you have 3 days left to pre-order our shirt. Go to Moore Ave Underground on Facebook, because that's just where we're doing it. Check out the site, or check out like the post. It's pinned to the top. If you like the shirt, send us a message. We'll hook you up with the details. Also, you have 3 days left to go to our site, see the voting link for the FCLMA. We've been nominated for Punk Band of the Year for the Forest City London Music Awards, and it would be really rad to see Moore Ave Underground on like a trophy.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if you want to vote for us, that'd be cool. And there's lots of other rad artists there that you can vote for. And if you don't know any of them, you get the chance to, like, look them up and experience and find new artists. So,
yeah,
you can do that too.
Awesome.
And then I think we just put in our card in for this year's CBC Searchlight. So I think that's coming out in May sometime. You can start voting for that too if you like.
Awesome.
Whenever that comes out.
Well, yeah, everyone keep an eye out for that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on our video here. And thanks a lot for coming.
No
Thanks
problem.
for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.